Well, look, staying in France, it's a story straight out of a TV series, a spectacular daylight theft of priceless jewels at the Louvre Museum here in Paris. Two suspects then remain in custody over that daring heist, but police have said they have until this evening to decide whether to charge them or, in fact, let them go. The French government, meanwhile, is scratching its head over what went wrong at the Louvre on the day in question. Let's speak to our international affairs editor about this, and Angela Diffley. Angela, I mean, this is a story that's left a lot of us completely enthralled. Two suspects then arrested on Saturday. What do we know about them since those arrests?
Well, we know they're two men in their 30s from the outskirts of Paris. They both have criminal records involving crimes to do with theft. And it is reported, although the police haven't confirmed it, that one of them was trying to board a flight to Algeria when they were arrested. They haven't said a huge amount from what we're hearing yet while they've been in custody, and that's going to be a problem. The police now, as you said, have two choices. They have a third choice, so they can release, they can charge, or they can apply for an extension in the hope that they might talk more or say something more useful, because the key things the police want to know are they need to find the other two suspects. We know that there were four, and above all, with the clock ticking, where are the jewels? Because there is real worry. That sort of historical artefact, there's no market for that, but what everyone thinks is that they will quickly melt down the gold and recut the diamonds, and thereafter those priceless historical artefacts will never be recognisable again and never be found again.
Well, this has caused a massive row here in France. Talk us through why it's so momentous and why it's so divisive.
Yeah, I think, in France, anything to do with the French culture or history or heritage really goes right to what many French people see as their identity. They see themselves as a beacon in the world. It's not for nothing that UNESCO is headquartered in France. The French fought for that. They see themselves as a cultural beacon in the world. The Louvre is the most visited museum in the world. It is the biggest museum in the world. The idea that this could have happened in 7 minutes in the heart of Paris at this museum has rocked France. It is also, of course, because of the feverish politics at the moment and some would say it has been used, shambolic state of affairs in the Houses of Parliament here in France. This is being seen as a bit of a metaphor for what's going on in France. France is a laughingstock in terms of its politics at the moment. Now people around the world are laughing at this 7-minute burglary. What was the problem with the security? There was an advert on the Louvre website which said, lose yourself in the Louvre. And the French word for lose yourself was, the word they use is the same word as you'd use for escape. That was quickly removed from the website. There were, a lot of people have seen the advert for the truck saying when you need to make a quick getaway. There's been a lot of laughter about it. In fairness, the French have managed to see the funny side, but it's hard to overstate how much this sort of thing matters in France. There is inevitably now a question of responsibility. The director of the Louvre offered her resignation. It was refused by the culture minister, Rachida Dati. They have both been questioned by the Senate. Trade unions are saying that the cause of all this is that there have been too drastic cuts and reductions in both staff and equipment. There will be a very serious questioning of everything concerned to find out where responsibility lies, no doubt, in a number of different areas.
Absolutely. As you say, Angela, a great deal of damage control underway in France at the moment. What's been suggested that might prevent this sort of heist in the future? Because, of course, that's the key question. How do they stop this from happening again?
Yeah, it has come to light since this happened that these sort of heists happen far more often than most of us realised in many museums around the world. It is not necessarily in their interests to make that public, but it has emerged that it's all a lot more frequent than we thought. Rachida Dati, the culture minister, made a point earlier on of saying everything worked, the system worked. And in a sense, it did. But what is obvious is that the system was too slow. The police were alerted by a passing cyclist before the alarms and all the proper security precautions put in place went ahead as they were supposed to. So they're simply too long. It needs to be speeded up. At one point, the director of the Louvre said we need a police station in the Louvre. The director of Paris Police said, absolutely not. Where do we stop if we're going to start doing that? But he has suggested that perhaps there should be better AI-powered security precautions, not facial recognition, but object recognition, where using security and surveillance cameras around a big city, for example, you can track objects as they're being stolen. You can track scooters. That's one thing. It's also emerged that some of the security cameras were still in analog mode, so their pictures were very blurry, and it was very difficult to send or to share those pictures with other people. That has shocked a lot of people. Also, the license to operate the surveillance cameras in a number of the rooms had lapsed and had not been renewed. And very many rooms in the Louvre apparently do not have any surveillance camera. So Emmanuel Macron is very much behind an €800 million plan to massively renovate the Louvre. The last time was about 40 years ago. But security will now take a much higher priority in that renovation than looking at the plans until now it was expected to.